If you want to be a change maker, it's super important that you're someone who's in integrity. You feel complete in yourself and you show up in your full self. You show up with radical honesty. So you own everything that you can own, and when you have If you want to be a change maker, it's super important that you're someone who's in integrity. You feel complete in yourself and you show up in your full self. You show up with radical honesty. So you own everything that you can own, and when you have that level of integrity around you, then you can actually gain the trust of the system that you're in, that you're trying to influence, to actually be a system changer. The second thing is that you need to have an ability to communicate, an ability to really have empathy for other people and meet them where they're at. And when you can have that kind of connection with them, then you're able to build trust, build coalitions, build a movement that will actually make change in the system. The third thing that a change maker really needs is that they need to have critical thinking. You know, the ability to see things from the system's perspective, to apply analytics, to see dynamics, and what are the subsystems within the major system that are all playing a role, and map together the interconnectedness of what's happening. So the critical ability to look at things and say, this is what's happening, this is what's not happening, this is where the leverage points are, that's super duper important as well. The greatest takeaway from Future Shapers and this event has just been the connection that we've been able to create with all the folks who are here. It's been a really powerful experience in going deep and uncovering the layers that typically when we're creating connections, we're just stuck at this layer. And I think with Future Shapers, we got to go deeper into some of these other aspects of ourselves and show up more vulnerably, more authentically.
officially begin this afternoon session, I would like to introduce our speaker. Our speaker this afternoon is a masteral student. Did I get this right? Masteral student, not a martial arts student, no. He's a masteral student in Science in Health Informatics from the University of the Philippines Manila and a graduate of BS Public Health in the University of the Philippines Visayas. In 2016, he co-founded and led hashtag Mental Health PH. So remember the hashtag Mental Health PH, a non-profit organization that aims to promote and protect mental health in the Philippines through social media and internet technology. He's also a licensed medical technologist and worked before in the University of the Philippines Manila National Telehealth Center. He's a theater and arts enthusiast and recently an apprentice of the Philippine Educational Theater Association, or PETA, a renowned theater group in the Philippines fighting for human rights through the creative arts. He is an HIV advocate, a nature lover, a thrill seeker, and he really loves pandas. He believes that the right thing should be done the right way. Lastly, he is also a fellow of the Benilde Hub of Innovation for Inclusion's Future Shapers Program. I would like to welcome Mr. Roy Dahildahil. Roy?
Thank you so much, TQ. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. I'm very excited to share my insights about how we can use or we can protect ourselves in social media. Just waiting for the slides to open. All right, it's open. All right, let's begin. Again, thank you so much, College of St. Benilde and the Hi-Fi Future Shapers program for inviting me here. Before anything else, let me say first that I'm not here to convince you to shut down and deactivate all your social media accounts, nor am I here to teach you how to be a social media influencer. No, I am just here to present here the social media and understand how to navigate our way through the social media. So I am Roy Dahildahil. I am a BS Public Health graduate in UP Visayas and a Master's in Health Informatics in UP Manila. In 2016, I co-founded hashtag MentalPH. Yes. And then I got the idea for the theme of this talk when I, a single techie adult, decided to download a dating app. So my idea when using that app is that it's very similar to that dating app where you can control your social media. So always realize that you are the bigger person in the same way that in these dating apps, for example, you choose who you want to interact with. You always have the control of your social media where you can be mindful and know when to swipe left or right on things you don't want to see. But first, let's discuss social media. Social media has a remarkably high penetration rate here in the Philippines, which is reported to be at 67% of the total population, meaning more than half of all Filipinos are in at least one social media platform. And some of you might be guilty, katulad ko rin, we actually spend an average of almost 4 hours in social media. So like that's 1/6 of our daily lives. Also notice in these figures, although the 18 to 35, the second and third column, although 18 to 35 year old age group dominate the social media, hindi rin nagpapahuli yung mga nasa adult population natin. So like yung papansin nyo, yung mga nanay, tatay natin, di ba? Tito, tita natin, nasa social media na rin. And especially ngayon, minsan nga pati yung mga lolo't lola natin na gumagamit na rin or nasa social media na rin. So with this huge percentage of people using social media, fact is social media might actually stay here for quite a while. But if you come to think of it, social media is just actually the Gutenberg printing press or the TV radio of this era. But instead of a centralized source of information, in essence, the church, these big media companies, anyone right now, I say anyone, can actually contribute and generate content and disseminate information through their social media. So everyone, pwede ka mag-post ng content, pwede ka mag-share ng information on your social media accounts without the need of a very high-tech infrastructure. So social media is an evolved form of communication. its practical use are unimaginable. I experienced the wonders of social media in 2018 when my post about Mang Ben, a random kind person in Padre Faura, gained a lot of traction online. It gained a lot of traction that even the GMA News TV, a big company, was able to pick it up and featured Mang Ben and helped Mang Ben. Then years after, this year, we did a follow-up about Mang Ben. And then again, through social media, we tried to crowdsource funds to help Mang Ben cope with the current situation during this crisis. Then again, banking also on the power of social media. Hashtag Mental Health PH, the advocacy group that I co-founded in 2016, utilized social media heavily to promote and protect mental health. So we shared stories of hope from people with mental health problems, engaged people online to normalize conversations about mental health, and connect with people sharing the same advocacy as us. It is proven that social media, if used effectively, could actually reach more Filipinos, especially those who are in need of help. Just a quick sharing, the organization operates using the 3S framework, the self, society, and system, and the 3O's approach. We believe that a mentally healthy community could be achieved by taking into consideration the individual, the society, and the system, or the policies that exist to protect his or her mental health. And we do this by complementing online activities with our on-ground work. We used online platforms heavily. We use social media platforms heavily. We have hashtag Usap Tayo, a regular Twitter conversation. We have MH Talks on Facebook, hashtag Open Chats on Viber, Learn MH on TikTok, among others. We maximize these platforms to meet people where they are and educate them and normalize conversations about mental health. So social media has a lot of potential benefits. Other than the usual known uses of social media, like for example, for some of us, it's self-expression, ranting, talking to our loved ones, stalking your loved one, sharing memes or whatever. You can actually use social media for social good. Twitter, for example, are currently being used by a lot of educators to create digital classrooms, network with colleagues, and connect with schools and community. But of course, I'm not saying that social media is perfect or that it is always safe. You can never tell. It comes with a lot of drawbacks then. Some reported social media to be addictive, actually counterproductive, prone to cyberbullying, among others. But remember, just like many technology or invention, social media also is a double-edged sword. It has a lot of practical uses, but could also be used to do harm. Like for example, social media could affect us negatively by its algorithms because that's how they earn by making you use their platforms as frequent as possible. So like there's a saying that goes nga that when the product is free, you are the product. So these tech companies invest a lot in understanding human behavior and know and understand what makes you click to get your attention. So like for example, we are not that very surprised if I'm not sure if you can relate, but I sometimes ended up watching cat videos on YouTube when actually I'm supposed to like um, study for a lecture. Social media could also be detrimental on your self-esteem. A 2018 study suggests that social media use has a correlation with loneliness and depression. A professor in University in Michigan explains that this might be because unknowingly or knowingly we compare ourselves to the well-curated life of other people we see on social media. And lastly, especially today, the news and contents bombarded to us every day could be too much for our mental health to handle. Um, like there's the uncertainty of things, the COVID updates, updates from our government, and then now we have ideas on what's happening abroad, and then there's what the experts call recently the word infodemic, or it means the proliferation of mostly wrong information about certain things. So social media may be an evolved form of communication, but it is not perfect. It can be dangerous. But the good thing is there are ways to protect ourselves. One of the ways is to be very aware of our relationship with social media. So to protect ourselves, for example, let's try as much as possible to be aware and ask ourselves at least these three questions: the why, the what, and the how. First is the why. Why do you use your social media? Saan mo ito ginagamit? Do you use it to connect with your friends ba? To express yourselves? To get updated with the news? Or like simply having a good laugh from the memes? Try to be aware of that. Try to understand in what way are you using social media. Next is the what. What kinds of content are you sharing? Are you sharing too much private information? Have you checked if it's true? Did you check, will it hurt someone? Did you review its source? Same goes also to the kinds of content you are consuming. Be very aware of the kinds of content that you are consuming. Be critical about it. You have to check the sources, verify this information, and also you can check if it can potentially harm other people or it can potentially harm you. Then lastly is to understand the how. This is the most important. Take a step back from time to time and assess how you feel about the contents you're seeing. Napupuno ka ba ng galit dahil sa mga nakikita mo or napaflood sa'yo sa social media mo? Ng inggit, ng lungkot, or natutuwa ka sa mga nakikita mo and get inspired? Emotions are very contagious, especially now that we're more connected with people through social media. So always take a healthy self-check from time to time. And upon asking yourselves those questions and you found out that most of your answers are negative or not good for your well-being, you can take control of your social media platforms. There's an array of selection for social media platforms. Find the platform that suits for you and that's healthy for you. You can always follow, mute, or block contents you don't want to see. You can also check your socials only on given time and those things. And if it's still not working for you, you're always welcome to take a digital detox. Give it a day, a month, or forever. It's up to you. But the bottom line is that you are in control here. You are in control of your social media. We need to understand that social media and these platforms might stay here for a while. Through social media, we form communities, strengthen connections and communications. It might be toxic, but we can make it better and useful for us. How? This book by Lockett and Casey beautifully described the community in social media by comparing it to an organism. Human, for example, and each of us is the cell. In the same way that the body has cells that protect from foreign bodies, we are the cells that protect the integrity and safety of humanity. Because of social media, we're able to see, call out, correct, or the term is cancel, unhealthy ideologies, transphobic or racist remarks. And we even came to a point now where we also try to cancel the cancel culture. So as a community in this platform, we actually have a role to play to protect ourselves and other people. We can do this by educating people, understanding how these companies are luring us, how the contents are affecting us, and how we can help change the wrong things that we see online or offline. We take control of our socials and swipe left when it doesn't work for us. Thank you, and that's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Roy. I was waiting for claps, no? I can't clap pala. Okay. I think you can also post your reactions. There's a reaction button. You can clap if you want to, but or you can post messages on the chat. So thank you, Roy, for that very insightful presentation. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you have tons of questions or points of clarifications na you would like to ask our speaker. You can send them via chat. You can send it to everyone, or you can send it to us privately, and we're going to read them so that our speaker can respond. And then, if you also have your own insights, don't be shy. You can also post them online. You can post them on the chat box, and then we can read them so that your opinions are also raised in this session. Okay. So what we'll do now is Roy and I, we're going to have a chat. So I have a few questions for you, Roy. Yan. Yay.
Sige.
Maybe you can share with everyone. No? You are the co-founder of Mental Health PH. Can you tell us more about what you do and how you do what you do in Mental Health PH in your organization?
All right. Before you guys started, let me share lang how we started hashtag mental PH. So it was in 2016 during the event organized by Health PH in PICC. I met Lawrence. So Lawrence has bipolar 2 disorder, and she shared during that conference her story of having mental illness and how difficult it was to have mental illness in the Philippines. So that was 2016. If you can remember, wala pang mental health law noon, and hindi ganun ka napag-uusapan yung mental health. But also, at the same year, sobrang uso ng hashtag Aldab, ng hashtag Amalayer, ng hashtag OTWall, mga ganong klaseng conversations online. So the idea came na why not use social media to make these kinds conversations about mental health a prevalent but neglected public health issue be more viral through social media. So we started on Twitter, then just gaining enough tractions, making it regular, talking about mental health, discuss different topics and opinions about mental health. Then eventually it grew in number. And then ngayon, 4 years after that idea or that Twitter conversation, lumaki na ng lumaki yung organization. And now, narito na kami sa nag-organize na rin ng mga on-ground activities and also dun sa meron na rin mga chapters sa Cebu and Iloilo.
Oh, that's it seems like you've been very busy helping people, no? So my next question is, a lot of happenings been happening in the world now, economically, socially, politically, and culturally. So why did you choose to focus on mindfulness and on like being mindful on social media, especially in this time? Why this and why now?
Right. My opinion, the reason then I started focusing on social media is because the current pandemic transitioned most of us to online platforms. Dahil nga hindi tayo makalabas, and then merong mga physical isolation, marami sa atin yung nagre-rely na lang sa technology to connect with friends, to get information or get updates online. So parang lahat tayo nag-migrate from the offline community and engaging to these online platforms. So dahil lahat tayo nag-migrate doon, we need to have safeguards. We need to protect ourselves while we are there. Habang nandito pa yung pandemic, habang ginagamit pa yung social media, mahalaga na maprotektahan yung mga tao na nandito na ngayon sa social media, especially those na mga hindi digital native or yung mga techie na mga tao. Kailangan natin silang protektahan kasi they were forced now to use social media kahit hindi naman sila into social media before.
Yeah, I can recall na my parents when I was younger, they would tell me na wag kang lalabas, don't talk to strangers. So parang when we were young, we were taught on how to survive, how to live in the physical world. And now that we are forced to live in a social or in a digital world through social media, it seems like we really have to teach not just the young but even the digital migrants, no, not how to survive in the digital world, right? No, especially now na ang dami. It's so easy to create misinformation, disinformation, especially now that we have artificial intelligence creating deep fakes, wherein they can use your face to make videos of you, pictures of you na fake, na hindi talaga totoo, and it looks real. Parang we really have to start teaching people on how to live in this kind of world.
Pinakahugot ko rin nga dyan, TQ, kasi nga recently, mas online na rin yung nanay ko. So, so hindi ko pwedeng iwan yung social media na alam ko nandun yung nanay ko. So, kailangan kong gawa ng paraan how to make it safer for my mother and my tita.
True.
Na nandun. So, somehow, you have to parang figure out a way na hindi siya maging harmful to them because they find it very useful. Especially ngayon na mag-isa lang ako dito and then nasa Iloilo yung family. So, social media lang ngayon yung paraan for us to communicate.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I have another question. No. So, how do you see these crises affecting people's mental health? And can you share with us stories of people that you might know or might have talked to you and contacted Mental Health PH?
Right. So nung nag-start yung pandemic, dahil nga bawal na tayong lumabas, ang daming tao ngayon na isolated, minsan mag-isa lang sa bahay, or like unlike before na like mag-message lang sila to their friends for support or for like distraction or like pag-enjoy, mas madali na nagagawa. But because of the pandemic, sobrang limited yung ating mobility and isolated tayo ngayon. So we need to like settle lang muna with online video calls. Naging mahirap siya, especially sa mga tao na yun, kasi nga, napaka-ano natin, di ba? Dito, napaka-mahilig makipag-interact with other people, makipag-meet with friends. So ngayon, naapektuhan siya. So yung support system, medyo naging challenging. And then, of course, because of this COVID-19 din, maraming uncertainty na nangyayari. Like, hindi natin alam saan anong mangyayari next, mataas pa rin yun yung cases, anong kailangan natin gawin, job security, etc. So yun, nakaka-apekto yun sa ating mental health. And then yung pandemic na to kasi hindi lang siya sobrang iksing nangyayari. Like February tayo nag-start hanggang ngayon nandito pa rin. So minsan nakakapagod siya. And ako personally, nung nag-start yung pandemic, sobrang challenging yun for me. And naapektuhan din ako na hindi ako makapag-function as much before. So, sobrang adjustment din on my end. So, nasira yung routines, dami ko inaalala, and then, nung nagka-case sa Iloilo, medyo inaalala ko na rin, wala, kamusta kayo yung parents ko na. So, during that time, I took also a healthy self-care break and told my friends na hindi, pause muna ako ngayon, and I just need to take care of mental health while adjusting. And I can barely imagine yun. Paano naman sa mga taong like diagnosed talaga with anxiety and depression, limited yung kanilang mobility, limited yung access nila sa healthcare professional, and then limited din yung access nila to kanilang support systems, plus their medications din, sobrang naging challenging. So, a lot of factors nang naapektuhan because of pandemic na to, but I think this pandemic somehow exposed the already existing problem ng mental health dito sa Philippines, na hindi lahat may access to mental health care services, hindi lahat may access to medicine or can afford those medicine, and hindi lahat protected yung kanilang mental health.
I completely agree. Maybe to jump off from one of your points kanina that we're living in such a time of uncertainty. I'm listening to this podcast, Future Perfect now. It's by Vox. I think the audience can also try to search for that podcast. It's Future Perfect by Vox. And they have a mini-series right now called The Way Through. So it's a mini-series of different thought leaders, spiritualists, writers, philosophers, and they're giving tips on how to get through this crisis. And one of the episodes was with Rabbi David Wolf, and he said that what really unites us right now is that we are all uncertain of the future, and what's been happening is because it's so uncertain, we are trying to look for what is certain, and we do that through social media most of the time because it's what's accessible to us. And a lot of people are promising truths that you can or certainties. That's what's happening, and that's what basically destroying or weakening our mental health. Now, I'd like to read a few questions from our audience. Thank you for the people who've been asking questions. This question's from Homer from Manila. Okay? The question is, hello, Sir Roy. Is your advocacy limited to that of mental health in social media? How about mental health advocacy along our communities? Because generally, there is no public health support in mental health. Maybe an advocacy to create community-based management among LGUs. Yeah. Is it limited to social media?
Homer, no? No. So we started before with social media, but after gaining a lot of online tractions, we were able to translate these online tractions to offline tangible actions. So we recognize na hindi lahat kaya ma-reach ng social media. Marami pa rin wala sa social media at maraming hindi naaabot to social media lang. Kaya sa aming framework, we complement our online activities with on-ground na mga activities. So like we organize talks, we organize campaigns, and ngayon nga nag-establish na ng mga chapters, local chapters like for example, in Cebu and Iloilo, para mag-organize ng mga campaign, regardless if it's social media heavy or not social media heavy, but organize campaigns sa chapter nila na natingin nila mahalaga sa kanila doon sa Iloilo. So, ayun, no, we're only utilizing or leveraging social media, but the mental health advocacy, napakalawak ng sakop niya at kailangan nyo nating tuunan din ng pansin para ma-ensure na mentally healthy yung ating community.
Right. So there are local chapters, and hopefully dumami. Hopefully more people get to have that mental health access, and hopefully, Mental Health PH would be a good organization to advocate that. So if you need help, maybe you can just get in touch with Mental Health PH. No. So this next question is this next question is very nice because I personally experienced this. No, this is from Reese David. Okay, from Manila. The question is, how do you not get overwhelmed with social media? It's really very easy to get overwhelmed with social media since there's a lot of negativity going around with the world.
Right. Sobrang tama yan. Tama talaga yan. Nangyayari yan. At hindi lang ikaw yung sobrang na-overwhelmed with all the news online. And then even the World Health Organization recognizes nga na that's an existing problem. Since ngayon nga nag-transition online and they get the news online and then sobrang shocks, ang daming nangyayari. So WHO recommends na for those people na overwhelmed with the news that they see to pace yung parang time when they want to know the news and para choose the platform where you can get this news. Kasi for example, if you check Facebook, madami, parang chapso yung Facebook, ang dami. May mga memes, may mga news, may mga about the government or anything. So choose the platform na nandun yung kailangan mo malaman, practical na kailangan mo malaman at a certain time. And then second is for you to schedule yung mga dates or times na dun ka lang mag-check ng social media platform to get updated with the news. There's the complete manual ng World Health Organization on our social media pages. You can check din doon kung paano pa natin mapapangalagaan. Di lang yung sarili natin, but the elderly, the children, the other individuals, other sectors.
Okay, thank you for that. So if you need any more tips, you can also still get in touch with Roy for guidance. Okay, now my next question is this from Dayan Kudal from Manila also, Manila. I'd like to ask Sir Roy, there are many unfortunate events happening in our reality. We have a government that isn't doing its job to provide for its people, and that isn't, how can we balance being informed and keeping our so-called sanity amidst all the troubling events happening? Do you recommend cutting our on-screen time? Then again, how will you remain up to date in a time that information is literally life or death?
Right. Totoo din yan. Kasi nga sa sobrang connected natin with the social media, sa sobrang connected natin, sobrang ang dali for us to access information, good or bad. So again, babalik natin yung suggestion of WHO. For you to not be too overwhelmed, you have to pace yourself kung kailan mo i-consume yung mga information at ano yung mga information na gusto mong i-consume. You want to like establish a routine, like for example, you want to check the news sa ganitong araw lang and then ganitong oras just to get updated and to get practical information. So para hindi ka sobrang maapektuhan or makakain yung oras mo the entire day. So you need to pace yourself. And again, yun nga, sabi natin kanina, you have to be aware of the emotions na naka-attach sa mga nababasa mo online. So if tingin mo sobrang puro bad news yung nangyayari online, yes, it reflects the reality din naman na marami talagang bad news online. But you have to take care of yourself. Kasi marathon itong pinasukan natin, yung pandemic na pinasukan natin, we have to always prioritize self-care. So if it's getting too much, the emotions getting too much, you have to take a break muna and then get updates na lang from your friends or from other people about sa mga nangyayari online para hindi ka naman ganun ka-disconnect. But on that part naman, para I always want to emphasize na yes, you can rest now, but try to always have a mindset na babalik ka para tumulong sa ibang tao. Kasi ngayon, madami nangyari, kailangan ng tulong ng lahat. So go, it's okay to take a rest. But I hope you maintain that mindset na you are going to rest because babalik ka para tumulong din.
Nice. So, thank you for that. No? I completely agree. Sabi nga ng mom ko, okay lang mapagod, wag lang magsasawa. Kasi pag napagod ka, you can rest. Pag nagsawa ka, you don't want it anymore. Okay. Our next question is from Carl S. from, Port Stanley, Falkland Islands. Nice. Okay. To the many international engaged talks. Okay. To the many issues, crises, and problems, etc., we encounter that affects the mental health of the person. Let us not forget to deepen our spiritual life. Anyone can practice spiritual life, even you don't have religion or faith. So that's a comment. So thank you, Carl, from Falkland Islands. Okay, next question is from Abby Mapua from Manila. The Philippines has the longest quarantine globally, and this has been having adverse reactions on everyone's mental health, most especially the LGBTQ. Hey, that's me now. LGBTQ plus who haven't come out yet. They are isolated on so many aspects as they cannot see their friends. Is there any safe space online where they can go, especially the LGBTQ community?
Okay. Right. Yeah, especially sa mga taong oo nga no, hindi pa ganun ka-exposed but forced to be with their family during this quarantine. Yes, Ma'am Abby, especially ngayong month, ang daming nagsisilabasan ng organizations kasi kakatapos lang po natin mag-celebrate and mag-protest for the Pride 2020. Siguro to start, meron tayong mmpride.org sa social media. You can check those. And then pantay.ph. So meron mga social advocacy groups and also a safe space for individuals. Siguro hindi lang sa mga LGBT communities, meron din tayo safe spaces for PLHIV, for the Lumad community. I'll try siguro to link down below or comment below yung mga social media channels nila. But meron available po online for those safe space. They need not to disclose their identity. And then second, since nasa mental health advocacy tayo, I'd like to promote din na we have the NCMH hotlines sa crisis line natin. So if need nila ng kausap or need nila ng safe space to share what they're going through, regardless of gender, regardless of age, they can call those hotlines sa NCMH. That's 7 USAP.
7 USAP. That's 7 USAP.
I'll chat sa baba para makita na lahat.
Okay, so we have communities and Roy will connect us to those communities so you can find your own safe space. Very important in this very trying times. Our next question is from Marit Irvin from Geneva Airport, from Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, the question is, social media users are getting younger, preteens, and the algorithms can sometimes make them vulnerable to things they cannot unsee. Beyond limiting exposure, do you have other tips or resources on managing the mental health of the digital kids?
Sorry, paulit lang po ng first question niya. The first line.
The first question is, do you have resources or tips on managing the mental health of our digital kids?
Okay. So ngayon po, meron po sa mga WHO na mga websites, since nga, especially ngayon sa pandemic, marami silang sectors, MHPSS, Mental Health Psychosocial Support, na targeted to different sectors. So meron po resources for the elderly, for the kids, for the vulnerable groups. We can link it po sa ating social media channel, so you can get those kinds of information there sa mga website na yon. But siguro on our end naman as parents, we can parang implement yung mga safety nets ng mga platforms na yan. And if you also see parang troubling na mga contents online, please report those kinds of content kasi somehow kung hindi mo siya i-report, makikita yun ng iba and it's no longer a safe space for other people. So may contribution tayo to maintain the integrity of our social media.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, my hometown is Cavite. Cavite, here in the Philippines also, no, Cavite. And just 500 meters away from our village is a contact center, a call center. It's one of the call centers of Facebook. They outsource the manual filtration of content there. So it's been in the news, and the trauma rate is so high with that kind of jobs. I can recall this was back in 2009. The content filtration of Facebook is not as not yet even as airtight as now, no, and we can really see really gore photos and really undesirable content. So it's in a way we are lucky. The kids now are luckier that the content are better filtered, but at the same time, the perpetrators are always like 3 steps ahead, and there are people that we need to remember that there are actual people filtering the content, watching the videos, looking at the photos, who themselves are getting traumatized by these kinds of things. So maybe that's also a nice thing to think about for ourselves, no, for the people, for our audience. Okay, I think the Hi-Fi team will connect some of those links on the chat box. So if you need resources, the links are on our chat box. Okay. Right. Let me. Yeah. My
so
next
that's
question.
The SMH Crisis Hotline for if you need someone to talk to.
Okay. Yeah, please get in touch with that hotline if you really need professional assistance. Okay. So the whole concept of social media is that it's supposed to be a medium that connects us, no? But as you said in your presentation, Roy, it has caused a great deal of pain, emotional and great deal of pain, and emotionally, psychologically to people. How do you think can we, normal people and end users, approach social media in a manner that can connect us again with others?
Great. Ayun, ganda ng question na yan. So medyo challenging, and siguro sa iba, parang inisip nila mahirap siyang gawin. But just as an insight that you might want to try is first, find a platform that suits you. So iba't ibang social media platform, may iba't ibang functions, may iba't ibang animal. So the Facebook has a different kind of algorithm, different yung kanyang use. We have Twitter, we have Snapchat, we have Instagram for images. Iba't iba yung kanilang parang priority, or iba't iba yung kanilang paggamit. So hanapin mo muna yung social media na comfortable ka, na healthy para sa iyo, at napupunan yung use na kailangan mo. So find the platform that suits for you, and the next is to find a community that resonates with you. So pag nahanap mo na yung social media na yon, meron minsan kasi meron talagang algorithm yung mga social media na yon to feed you the content na kailangan mo. So you have to be mindful of that. You have to be aware sa ganong bagay. Take a step back and check if ito ba yung community na nag-resonate sa akin, ito ba yung content na gusto kong mahanap. If hindi yon yung content na gusto mong mahanap or healthy sa'yo, or kung saan pwede ka makapag-contribute, you have to review parang the different functions ng social media na yon, how to refine the content that you see. Facebook has ways din para mahanap mo or para ma-feed sa'yo yung content na mahanap mo, but especially Twitter. So sa Twitter, pwede kang gumawa ng listings na kung saan news lang makikita mo sa feed mo, or like latest events lang makikita mo sa news feed mo. Or kung gusto mo mag-explore outside your box, you can also have those kinds of content. The keyword here is control. Always remember na these big platforms, although meron silang algorithms and stuff, you have the control on those social media platforms. You can control the content that you see. You can control how you want to react on this, and you can control the use of those social media platforms.
Yeah, it's like a paradox. And it's ironic also. that social media a means to bind us, to connect us, and then for us to have that connecting experiences. We find our tribe digitally kasi it's easier to find our tribe online. However, doesn't it that being part of a homogeneous group, no, a group na pare-pareho, we all have the same opinion, that can also adversely affect how we think.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yung tinatawag na group thinking, no? So, kaya rin mahalaga na although kinocurate mo yung social media mo or yung content that you see on your social media, always have that separate content na kung saan opposite naman na pinaniniwalaan mo yung makikita mo. So like for example, on my socials, especially my Twitter, so I have the contents of news na somehow sharing the same ideology as mine, but I also have a list na kung saan doon ko makikita lahat ng mga content ng other parties. So somehow nakikita ko paano sila mag-isip, ano yung mga napopost nila para hindi ako magkaroon ng parang echo chamber na ito lang nakikita ko. So ayun, be mindful pa rin ng content na nakikita mo. So kung tingin mo puro to content na nag-agree ka, you might want to explore the search button and find contents na nag-disagree ka. And one last thing, WHO sa isang talk din nila na shinare, mataas yung ating emotional affinity sa mga information that we strongly agree on, na sometimes because we strongly agree on it, hindi na tayo nagiging critical about those kinds of information. So be aware of that, na if yung nakikita mo ay something na somehow parehas ka ng ideology, still be critical and explore, tama ba ito yung source niya? Tama ba rin ba ito yung sinishare niya before you actually act on it? Kasi baka meron kang certain biases sa mga nakikita mo.
Yeah. We might have confirmation bias, no? Now,
Yes.
Everyone's question is truly valued. Now, I'd like to ask or to get questions from our deaf participants, our deaf students. So maybe I'd like to get in touch with Sir John. Do we have questions from our deaf participants? Sir John, hello.
Yes, here's her still looking for them.
Yeah, I think Jobily raised her hand. Tama ba? Ayan, and then Regina, they're
Okay.
They're saying something.
Sige. Let's have the ladies first. Si Jobly. So do you have any question? Okay, so the question from Jobly is that because we are now in quarantine, and especially for us deaf people, because we are very like social beings, and most of the people that we are at home, like they don't share the same language that we do, and so if hearing people are feeling isolation, I think there's like double isolation that we are experiencing because sorry, I lost her because of the language barriers, because most of the family do not know sign language as well. So how do we actually deal with that kind of situation?
Thank you for that question po, no? But realization din siya sa akin ngayon nung minention mo yan na right, ang daming sectors na naapektuhan because of this pandemic, and we really have to think of them whenever we do advocacy works. Siguro in relation to social media, baka makatulong to find parang support groups online. So kung hindi nag-work yung support system na immediate dito, you can try exploring support systems online. And then, of course, sa Hi-Fi Benilde din, may mga support systems that especially for people with hearing difficulty. And then try to connect with them. And then even if ngayon hindi tayo physically makapag-connect sa kanila or makapag-meet sa kanila, I hope makakatulong or I hope augment ng konti yung doing the socials online and through the social media. But noted on that po, well, sobrang ano po niya, sobrang it's a eye-opener din sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon, especially.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Sir John, do our deaf students still have other questions? That was a beautiful question.
Yes, sir. We do have one question from Reginald.
Great.
Okay, so because during this pandemic, the coronavirus, again, we are required to practice like social distancing. There are a lot of rules and policies that we have to observe in order to not contract the virus and to protect our health. So I think again, also we have like very limited time, so we rarely get the chance to go out and be one with nature and exercise outside of our homes. So like, how do we deal with that kind of situation when there's so much limitation, but we still want to be in touch with what's going on outside?
Right. For that po, I'll share or resonate yung isa sa mga speakers namin sa MH Talks. Ngayon, parang there's always the feeling na kailangan mo talaga lumabas. Kahit to like be one with nature, to interact with your friends. But please remember na nasa sa crisis situation tayo ngayon, and safety should always be our priority. So kailangan pumunta natin mag-adjust and sinimulan natin to na with the mindset na ito ay magiging marathon. So sobrang nakakapagod talaga nito, especially ngayon umabot na tayo ng 100 plus days. So safety is always the priority. So find ways muna na find sacrifices na pwede mong gawin na hindi nag-involve ng danger to you, harm to you, or to other people. Siguro mga practical tips dyan na shinare ng aming speaker before is if hindi ka makalabas, you might want to explore ano yung mga spaces dito sa loob ng bahay mo na kung saan pwede ka pa rin makapag-practice na ginagawa mo sa labas. For example, if you love to do meditation outside, you can like establish a safe space dito sa corner na to na kung saan dyan mo gagawin yung mga activities. Or like simple activities like walking, physical exercises, like kung may stairs sa bahay, baka you can try walking sa stairs para may physical activity. But yun, bottom line is prioritize muna natin yung safety. Matatapos din to. Matagal nga lang ngayon, especially ngayon, matatagalan, pero matatapos din to. So, and yung goal natin is matapos to na magkakasama-sama pa rin tayo doon.
Thank you, Roy. Wow, time flies, no? I think we have to. I would love to ask more questions, read more questions from the audience, but in the interest of time, we would have to conclude this Q&A portion. Now, Roy, do you have any last words for our audience? Maybe you'd like to share something. Go ahead.
All right. Siguro in relation to my talk, I just want to emphasize that technology such as social media platform is a powerful tool to connect, to learn, to communicate. And it has been very useful for the past few years. And yes, it can be very dangerous, but know that you always have the power to protect yourself. By equipping yourself with the right tools and information, you can protect yourself and other people from being used by these social media platforms or by these technology. Because remember, at the end of the day, we are the social media users. Let's put it to good use and not allow this technology to use us. you know more about our advocacy about mental health PH, you can visit our Facebook and Twitter accounts. That's facebook.com/mental health PH. Yeah. So that's our social media channels. If you want to volunteer online or on ground, just contact us and email us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can screen cap this screen right now, so you always have this calling card, no? Okay. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Roy. Thank you to all the participants. Thank you also, Sir John, for translating for us and for helping all of our participants understand what we talked about this afternoon. Now, sabi nga nila that media is a mirror. Media is a mirror. It can either reflect you accurately or distort what you
Yes.
see, and it might even distort how you look at yourself. Now, our job is to assess how distorting is the mirror in front of us, and how will I make use of this mirror? Will I use this mirror to show people the truth, or will I use this mirror to confuse, or to make people feel bad about themselves, or to make them look at the world in an incorrect way? So thank you, Roy, for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you also to the audience for spending time with us. I would like to call Sir John. I think Sir John has a special announcement for everyone. Sir John?
Yes. I just want to inform, maybe, again, we discussed about the language barrier, because our deaf community also needs, people that they can communicate with. So maybe you might be interested to learn FSL. I know like face-to-face might be impossible right now, but we will be offering online classes of our FSL by the end of July. So if you're interested and maybe, learning some basic science, and you could start getting in touch, interacting with the deaf community. So I'm sure deaf people would really appreciate, hearing people interact with them. So yeah, we'll just post our announcement on our Facebook in CSV. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir John. And I think Miss Abby or Micah has an announcement regarding future activities. Meron ba? We have another Engage talk coming in a couple of weeks. So we hope to invite everyone. We're going to send an email to you so that you are updated on our future activities. Okay, so maybe just to share with everyone a few links. No, so you can follow us on Facebook. So let's continue the conversation online. Okay, so if you have questions, feedback, let's talk online. Okay, let's engage online. So you can visit us at Benilde Hi-Fi on Facebook. And then this video will be uploaded in a few days, okay? So that you can watch yourself here, or you can recall what happened here, what we talked about here. Go to our Hi-Fi YouTube channel at Benilde Hi-Fi YT, Benilde Hi-Fi YT on YouTube, or you can just search on YouTube Benilde Hub of Innovation for Inclusion. You can always also follow Hi-Fi's Twitter page at Benilde Hi-Fi. And we also have an Instagram account, Benilde Hi-Fi also. That's for our Instagram. And for professionals, if you'd like to get in touch with us in a professional platform, we have a LinkedIn account at linkedin.com/company/Benilde Hi-Fi. And lastly, Roy is part of our Future Shapers program. He's our fellow. So please visit, like, and subscribe to our Future Shapers page. It's at hi-fi.futureshapers. It's hi-fi.futureshapers on Facebook, and hi-fi.futureshapers. Just look for that account on Instagram for any updates. Okay, Ms. Abby, would you like to say something?
Yeah, okay. Maybe hello everyone. Good afternoon. Maraming salamat Sir John for joining us and for bringing the SDEA students. We're so happy that you're here. Roy, thank you so much. So we really want to honor the Future Shapers Fellows. We want them to share and impart whatever it is that their advocacy, the work that they do. So I think in the coming weeks, we will be featuring more of them. So maybe just a bit of a teaser. We will have a session on gardening. We'll also have a session on tie-dye. So we have fashion and design graduates who we are supporting. We will also feature them on Engage Talks. And then we will also have a session on community building. So we have a speaker from San Francisco, and and in Singapore who will be talking on community building. So that will be open to the public. So just follow the Hi-Fi Facebook page and the Future Shapers page, so you'll be informed of what's ahead. So thank you so much. Thank you, TQ.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Abby. So now, ito na. If you want a certificate, no, just joking. We sent a link on our chat box. Please, we need your feedback to improve the session. Or if you have any suggestions on future sessions also, you can please visit the chat box right now. There is a link para sa ating feedback form. Please send in your feedback. I think you can just copy paste the whole message of MNL Hi-Fi, so you have links to everyone, to all of the platforms. Yes, Miss Abby.
I just opened it again to add on to Sir John's invitation for Filipino Sign Language lessons. We also have, in partnership with the School of Deaf, we have an app. It's called FSL Buddy. What's the radio name for this one? Foxtrot Sierra Lima FSL Buddy. So it's there. Yan. So you'll have here basic words that you could learn. So it's an app. It's free. So if you want to learn more Filipino Sign Language, yun lang.
Yan. Thank you, Miss Abby. So just look for FSL Buddy on Play Store and on the App Store in iOS. Okay. So there. So thank you, everyone. We hope to see you on our succeeding activities. And we'll be sending everyone like invitations to the next session so you can join us once again. We're very thankful that you spent time with us. And we hope to see you, and we hope that we'll always be engaged citizens. Okay? Thank you. See you again in the future.
Oh, picture. Wala na pala.
Yeah, class picture. So, can everyone turn on their cameras, those who would like to? Let's have a class picture. Okay, class picture tayo. Okay.
Who's taking?
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Well, could we invite them to do the Benilde Hi-Fi?
Yeah. Again, we have this is Hi-Fi's FSL name. Benilde, this is for B. And then this is what living long and prosper, no? That's Star Trek. So this is Benilde Hi-Fi, or Innovation for Inclusion. May we invite everyone to do this hand sign?
Okay, 1, 2. Another one. 1, 2. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you again in our next sessions, and have a good afternoon.